The reality is you do not need more information on how to get fit and healthy. What you need is the right information for you based on your life. And that's where a coach comes into play. You need to know how to cut through the tens of thousands of different diets and programs that are out there on the internet, and to know which specific things you should be doing, which are going to move you forward towards your goals as quickly as possible. And then you need someone, a coach, to help keep you accountable on the changes that you want to make. Because the reality is, if it was easy, you wouldn't be here right now, you wouldn't be watching this video, and you would have already done it yourself, okay? But it's not knowing what to do, it's the sticking with it that is the hard thing, okay? And that's what we are here to help you with as coaches. And that's how accountability works. Like if you think back to when you were a kid and your parents used to force you to brush your teeth before you went to bed, and there was likely a little bit of resistance, or you maybe even pretended to do it but didn't do it, but they persisted long enough and they held you accountable to it, and then now hopefully you still brush your teeth as an adult. That is accountability at work, okay? So that is you being held accountable by your parents to do something, and that change sticking. And that's pretty much the process that we use here to help you make changes. So when you start working with us, the way that we're going to kick it off is we're going to sit down and really get to know your struggles and where you need help the most. Okay, so we're going to dive deep into that. And that's going to be a really holistic approach. So we need to know what your work's like, what your home life is like, tying that in with your training, the whole 9 yards, so that we can get a really good understanding of where you're at, because then that's going to help us give you the best advice moving forward. From there, that's when we look into weekly nutrition catch-ups, or we call them nutrition catch-ups, but they really are a holistic approach. So we could be talking about stress, we could be talking about sleep, we could be talking about just mindset in general. It's all going to be dependent on you and your situation about what needs to be discussed in these sessions. And then we're going to set some weekly focuses for you to go out and to try and achieve. You're going to go out and you're going to do your best to achieve these, but you're likely going to come across some struggles, because that's life. There are going to be struggles. And then you're going to take note of those struggles. And then rather than us catching up, we will catch up again the following week, but then rather than us telling you off and saying you shouldn't have been better, you should have done better, you should have stuck to your plan, and smacking your hand like you're a 12-year-old that's done something naughty, we're going to try to figure out why you weren't able to stick to the thing that we have worked on to try to work on. And so that's going to be diving into everything that happened around that moment that prevented you from achieving what you were trying to achieve. And when we can dive in and look at all of the aspects, maybe it's stress, sleep, other foods you've eaten, anything along those lines, training, the whole 9 yards, that's going to give us an idea of why you weren't able to maintain it. And then we can refine the strategy, send you out into the real world again to go and try to achieve the thing that you're trying to achieve. You're going to do it, and then hopefully you might be successful. And then once you're successful with it, and once you're confident with it, that is when we layer on another level of difficulty. Okay, so that's when we step it up and we go, cool, you're nailing this now, you're confident with this, you're achieving it, you're taking massive steps towards achieving your goals. What's the next thing that needs to be focused on in order for you to ascend, to get to that next level of where you want to be? And through this back and forth process, this is how we get extremely good results when we're working with clients, because it's 100% personalized to their life. It's not just a cookie cutter meal plan that you guys could right now Google and download by yourself, because we know those don't work long term. You might have the ability to follow it for a few weeks, maybe a couple months, and yes, you might get some good results on it, and that is awesome. But the reality is you probably won't stick to it long term, because you don't understand why you're doing what you're trying to achieve and how to adapt it when things don't go right. And until you know how to do those two things, you will never be able to make anything stick long term. Your willpower is not enough in order to make long-lasting change. So if you're keen to learn how we work this process and to be part of this process, reach out and we can talk a little bit further to see if it's a good fit for you.